man. How you doing?
Ready?
Yes, sir.
Well, welcome back to episode 2 of The Take Show. I'm Nick.
I'm Will.
Man, we got a show for y'all today. The Odell Beckham trade. I called it on the show last week. The trade. I literally called it to a T, but we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about the playoffs and the craziness that is the NBA playoffs, the last couple weeks of the regular season. And then, of course, it's March Madness. So we got to talk about the bracket. I think me and you have each made like 10 of them.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about our most realistic ones.
I'm going to make the maximum amount. I'm trying to get that money. I'm making a perfect bracket.
For sure. But, yeah, man, so it's going to be a good show. Stay tuned and let's get started. All right, man, first things first. So right after we recorded last week, Odell gets traded to the Browns for a first, a third, and Jabril Peppers. What did I say the Ravens should have traded for Odell? A first and a third. You told me I was crazy because they weren't going to trade Odell. And then they did.
Look, I was just going off of Dave Gettleman's word. He said we didn't sign him to trade him, and now he's saying they got an offer they couldn't refuse. So
did you also hear Dave Gettleman say that Eli Manning is still an elite quarterback?
He is.
All right. So, first things first. The Browns now are like a Madden offense at this point. Like Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham Jr., Antonio Callaway, David Njoku, Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, Baker Mayfield. How do you stop them?
You don't. You can only hope to contain them.
So is this going to be like playing the Chiefs and you just hope that you score 35 and they only score 31?
Man, can you? That's just insane to me. It's like you got Odell going deep. You got Jarvis working at like intermediate routes, and
Njoku running the seam.
Yeah, you got Njoku running the seam over the middle. Like,
and if that doesn't work, dump it to Kareem Hunt. Like,
you can't stop it.
And Baker Mayfield is ballsy. Baker Mayfield will throw the ball to Odell in double coverage.
Oh yeah, he'll sling it.
Like, Odell has put up these stupid numbers with a really, we'll say conservative Eli Manning. Baker will throw it.
Baker Mayfield got a little Brett Favre in him. He'll be slinging that thing.
Listen, Odell's going to come back to the huddle one time and be like, hey, I'm open. Baker's going to say, okay. He will run a post into triple coverage, and Baker's going to throw it and give him a chance.
I like Baker, man. He's got moxie. I like Baker.
He's got a little swag to him that not a lot of quarterbacks have, but I think Odell is going to love him. I think Odell is going to throw up, like, insane numbers this year. I think he's going to be, I know we're not really having a fantasy discussion, but I think he's going to be far and away the wide receiver one this year.
You think so?
I do.
Where do you think he's going to get picked?
I would probably say he's going to go in 10-team leagues, probably somewhere between 9 and 15. So I would say he's probably going to go back end of the first, top end of the second. In a 12-team, he might be more of a number one pick, first-round pick, because I think in 12-team leagues and bigger than that, running backs go a little bit higher. Mm-hmm. So if you're sitting there at 9, 10, 11, and Odell is sitting there.
Well, me and Nick had a team this past year, and we took Le'Veon Bell as our first pick. So, I mean, he's going to be a first pick this year, and he's going to be he's going to have a huge year. So
yeah, no, and I think that the Browns right now have to be, at least on paper, the co-favorites to win the AFC with the Chiefs.
Oh,
just on paper.
Oh yeah.
They're young. But they're super talented. They're good on offense and on defense. They have all of the pieces to be great.
But you know what you're doing again?
What am I doing?
You're counting out the Patriots.
No, I'm not.
You're counting out the GOAT.
I'm not. I'm saying only on paper. If you look on paper, the Patriots should never compete. But they always do because they have Tom Brady, they have Bill Belichick, they have this culture, they have this winning system. But on paper, they are not the most talented team. They may not even be the most talented team in their own division on paper, but they're gonna win the division.
So you think the Browns are the most talented team in the AFC now, by far?
I don't think they're the most talented team in the AFC, but I think they have closed the gap between the Chiefs and the Chargers to where you can make the case that just top to bottom, that roster is built very well. John Dorsey is executive of the year. Like, I think that is a foregone conclusion at this point. Before the draft even starts, He doesn't have a first-round pick in a defensively loaded draft, and he's still executive of the year. Because he traded the number 17 pick for Odell Beckham. The one piece they needed was a legit number 1 receiver. Jarvis works his best in the slot when he's against safeties, linebackers, and he can just manipulate them and eat all day. Baker needed somebody that he could throw it up to and just say, go get me one.
Oh, yeah.
And now he has the best in the league at going and getting one.
You don't even have to be accurate.
Not really. We've seen that. Like, it's not like Eli is the most accurate quarterback we've ever seen. But Baker's going to give him some chances, and I think Odell's going to like that. I think Odell is going to have a career revitalization. He's not going to be as cranky as he has been in New York, because I think in New York sometimes he just got pissed. Because he'd be running and he'd feel like he was open on a route, and Eli's just going to dump it down because Eli's afraid to take those chances.
Mm-hmm.
If Baker sees it, Baker's gunning. Baker's letting it go. Like,
Baker for MVP.
You know what? As big of a Pat fan as I am, and as much as I think he's probably the best quarterback in the league right now, Baker could put up the kind of numbers.
Oh, and Pat's not going to have Tyreek because Tyreek likes to hit women, and kids.
I can't. I'm going to stay away from that one. The last thing I want to say about this is, Dave Gettleman, what are you doing? Like, you can make the legitimate case that Odell Beckham is one of the 2 or 3 best players in the history of your franchise. He's not even in his athletic prime yet, and you trade him for a first-round pick that's the middle of a first round, a third-round pick, which may or may not be a player that even makes your team, and a safety that the Browns had given up on already. And you traded Odell and Olivier Vernon.
Well, I mean, now that I'm thinking about it more, I feel like maybe Dave Gettleman was thinking, our team is not going to be good this year. We're not going to be good. We're not going to be competitive. Odell's a competitive, fiery guy. If our team is not good and we're not competing, Odell is just going to be fed up. He's not going to be competing like 100%.
So you're saying they traded him to avoid what the Steelers just went through with Antonio Brown?
I think so. The more that I'm thinking about it, it was just going to turn into that same situation. It was going to turn into that same situation. Oh, we all know Odell's personality. He's a fiery guy.
Yeah.
He likes to get hit by kicking nets.
This man over here fighting nets and stuff.
If they're not competing, he's going to be upset.
Yeah.
And it's just going to affect his play on the field. He's not going to be committed to the team. And it's just going to go all downhill from there. So
yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense. I can understand that point of view from it. Here's what I don't understand. And this is the last thing I want to say before we move on. So I read an article a couple days ago that said that the Giants aren't even looking at a quarterback in the first round. This was right after they made the Odell trade, as they weren't even doing any homework on Dwayne Haskins. Why? What are you doing? Like, the only thing I can think is you have 2 first-round picks this year. You're going to load up and replace the 2 players you traded this offseason with a high-end receiver and a defensive lineman or edge rusher that you need, and then get your quarterback next year when you're going to have another high pick.
But they're going to have to tank again next year to do that.
They're going to suck this year anyway. They don't have any talent other than Saquon Barkley, which I feel for Saquon, man.
Saquon about to get 600 carries.
Yeah, and average 3 yards a carry because they're going to have 10 men in the box.
Yep.
But I'm praying for you, Saquon. I really am. I hope you have a good year. I pray that Dave Gettleman just stops making decisions because he has not proven to be very good at that.
We'll see.
All right. So now let's talk about the NBA playoffs. So this is like my favorite time of watching the NBA. It's these last 3 weeks leading into the playoffs, and then obviously the playoffs. But every year it seems like we get in this position where there's 5 or 6 teams fighting for these spots.
Mm-hmm.
The West, per usual, has 7 teams that are all within a game of each other.
Of course.
The Rockets, Blazers, Spurs, Thunder, Jazz, and Clippers are all within 3.5 games of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And legitimately any team can finish 3rd through 8th in any order. So we'll talk about them in a second. I want to talk about the East first, though, because the playoff teams in the West are set. The playoff teams in the East are not. I think the only thing we know for certain is that Milwaukee and Toronto are way better than everyone else in the East, And I have no idea what's going to happen with Indiana and Boston.
I hope they stay 4-5. That's going to be a great series.
That could be the best first round series.
It's going to go 7 for sure.
But so I want to look at this. So you got the Pistons, the Nets, and the Heat are 6, 7, 8 in the East right now. Magic and Hornets are right there behind them. Who makes it? Who are the last 3 teams in the East?
I don't know who's going to make it, but I really, really hope that the Nets make it. Just because I want D'Lo to experience the playoffs as the best player on the team. I want him to have a good playoff series. I don't know if they're going to win. Probably not, because they're going up against Toronto. If they stay, what are they, 7, right?
Yeah, they're 7.
They'll play Toronto first round, so that probably not going to end well. But I'm really happy for D'Lo, and he was a first-time All-Star this year.
He deserved it.
Yeah, for sure.
He came out and said, "Oh, y'all think I'm a bust? Watch this."
Oh yeah, for sure. Getting traded from LA was the best thing to happen in his career.
Oh, for sure. Could you imagine if they had D'Angelo Russell in this mess with LeBron right now? Like
no.
That would have destroyed what confidence he had left.
Nah, but I really want the Nets to make it, which hopefully they will.
Yeah.
And the Heat 8, right?
The Heat are 8, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean I want the Heat to make it just because it's Dwayne Wade's last year.
Yeah.
Let him get one last little sweep.
Yeah, listen. Here's where I'm at.
Get dunked on by Giannis, and then that's the end of your career.
So here's where I'm at. Dwayne Wade is one of my favorite players of all time. I love Dwayne Wade. I still say that the 2005 playoffs are the greatest individual effort I've ever watched in person. Like when Dwayne Wade took over against the Pistons, that was insane. I would almost rather the Heat not make the playoffs because whoever's the 8 seed is going to get ran over by the Bucks. They're going to make quick work of them. So I would almost rather Dwayne Wade finish as the 9 seed and let somebody else get that waxing, and Dwayne Wade can just ride off in the sunset.
Or he can turn back the clock and average 40, and they take the Bucks to 7.
It would literally take Dwayne Wade going 0-6 again for them to win 2 games. This is the 0-1 finals all over again. The team that shouldn't be there versus the way better team. I hope they make it for fun, because it would be great to see Dwayne Wade make it to the playoffs in his last year.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to see him go out like that.
Gabrielle Union, if you're watching this, please get my boy D Wade ready for the playoffs. Because
whatever you got to do.
I want to see vintage Flash. Please, one last time.
But so I think the Pistons are in only because I think they're far enough ahead of their group at 6.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Magic are probably going to make it over the Heat. I do. I think the Magic are just playing a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, whoever's 8 seed is not going to be around very long.
People sleep on the Pistons, man. Blake Griffin is quietly having one of the best years of his career. Everybody thinks he's just a dunker. That man he can handle the ball. He can shoot. Blake Griffin is nice.
Now, that being said, I've never been a big fan of Blake Griffin's game. Him shooting jump shots gives me heartburn. But I have to admit, he has played very well this year. It's definitely the best year of his career.
His jumper is way smoother than it used to be.
That thing used to have 17 parts and a switch.
Yeah, but it's way smoother now.
But, for God's sakes, Kemba needs to leave Charlotte, man.
He's gone.
He has to.
He's gone. He's
got to go.
He's a free agent. He's gone.
He's got to.
He's gone.
But he says he wants to stay. But they are ruining the prime of one of the best players in the league right now.
He's gone.
Kemba is nice. And Kemba is whittling away, sitting there at 31-38, fighting for an 8 seed like he is every year to get washed in the first round. Kemba deserves better than that.
All it's going to take is one superstar in free agency to be like, hey, Kemba, I'm going here. You coming or not? And Kemba's going to be like, got my bags packed already, dog.
Like, I'm ready. All right, so now the West. So the Rockets, Blazers, Spurs are 3, 4, 5. I think the Rockets are staying at 3. I think the Spurs or the Thunder, I think one of them is going to finish 4.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is going to finish 5. I think the Blazers are going to end up falling to 6, 7, 8. Because I think that C.J. McCollum injury, when everyone is this close, is going to be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, I really, really, really hope the Jazz stay at 7. Because I think Jazz Nuggets would be so much fun to watch.
Oh, that'd be a great series.
That would be so much fun. Jokic, Gobert, Donovan Mitchell, Jamal Murray, that would be fun. Isaiah Thomas.
How you gonna leave out the GOAT? Joe Ingles. Joe Ingles. That man had D'Angelo. No. I'm sorry. He had Bradley Beal on skates last night. Did you see that?
We need to talk about that.
You
know how I feel about Brad. We need to talk about that.
Hit him with that jazz stuff.
It's okay, Brad.
Brad was like.
It's alright, Brad. I still love you. I think Rockets Thunder would be a lot of fun. But I think it's going to end up being Spurs Thunder in the first round. I think it's going to end up being Rockets Blazers in the first round. And then I think the Clippers are going to play the Warriors.
And beat them in the first round.
Yeah. No, I think that's going to end up going 5. They might get 1 in LA. It's probably going to go like this, how those first round series are always going. Mm-hmm. Warriors go up 3-0 and just do not care game 4. Clippers steal 1 at home, and then the Warriors are like, oh crap, they're actually good. We have to try again, and then they just run them off the court in game 5. Mm-hmm. That seems to be how they are in the playoffs. Is you always hear like teams that LeBron was on, they can flip the switch in the playoffs. Few teams have actually been able to really do it. The Warriors do it. So I kind of feel bad for whoever's the 8 seed, but I give credit to the Clippers. The Clippers were supposed to suck after they traded Tobias Harris, and they don't. They're really competitive.
Yeah, not at all.
They're going to scrap for Doc Rivers. They're going to fight. They may not win, but they're not going to get washed.
They're going to win a game.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They may not win the series. They probably won't win the series. But they're not getting ran off the court.
They're going to win at least a game.
They're not getting ran off the court. All right, man. Now for the fun. So it's that time of year again. March Madness. So every year we do the same thing. We make these brackets, we feel confident, and we feel like we got the right one, and it goes to crap after like 20 minutes because UMBC goes and beats Virginia. Mm-hmm. Or Michigan State loses to a 15 seed. Like, really? But that's what makes it fun. Like, that is really the what makes March Madness is this single elimination tournament where you start missing some shots and you're going to lose to a 15 seed. Colgate. So, the toothpaste school ain't winning.
Colgate.
All right. So, we're not going to bore y'all with the whole going through all 64 teams analysis. We ain't got time for that. And let's be honest, y'all don't care about the first round anyway. Let's get to the good stuff. The Elite 8. Because that is where the real teams are at. So, who is in your Elite 8?
All right. So, for my Elite 8, I got Duke, Michigan State, K-State, Purdue, North Carolina, Iowa State, and then whoever wins the playing game between Arizona State and St. John's, they're going to be in there, and Syracuse.
So you're hold on. So you're actually picking the 11 seed play-in game, regardless of who it is.
I don't care who it is. They winning. I don't care.
Name me one player on St. John's roster.
Chris Mullin.
This is not 1989.
I don't care who on their team.
I understand Arizona State. They beat some teams this year that are good.
Don't care.
But how can you pick a team to go on a run if you don't even know what team it is that you're picking to go on the run?
You know how?
How?
March Madness, baby. You don't need to know who's on the team. You don't need to know the mascot. You don't need to know who the head coach is. You don't need to know nothing. You just pull up that bracket and you just start picking.
And you know what's crazy? That's probably the most efficient way to do it.
Oh, I know. And don't sleep on Buffalo either, because that's who I got as my sleeper. Buffalo, CJ Massey.
Hold your horses. We'll get there. All right?
All right.
Calm down. Okay. Get ahead of yourself there.
All right, sorry.
All right. So my Elite 8, I got Duke, Michigan State. I think that's the consensus. I got Murray State and Texas Tech. I got K-State and Tennessee. And then I have North Carolina and Iowa State. So I do have Murray State making a little run here. Because I think when you get a small school with a top 5 pick, this happens. Think Davidson in 08. So with Jay Morant being not only the best player, but their primary ball handler, so the ball is going to be in his hands a lot, I don't think they have a particularly difficult route to get here. But, so you talked about it earlier. You kind of got a little bit ahead of me there, but your sleepers. So you got Buffalo as a sleeper.
Yes, sir. C.J. Massenberg about to put the team on his back, though.
Buffalo can play.
Oh, yeah.
Buffalo might be underseeded. Buffalo really could have been a 4 or a 5 seed. They're good.
It's possible.
So, obviously, Murray State is in my Elite 8. So I obviously have them as my sleeper. Another sleeper I have, though, is Iowa State. Iowa State got really hot at the end of the year, ran through the Big 12 tournament. And you know how they say, like in the NFL and in the NBA, you get hot at the right time? Iowa State is hot at the right time. And they got a decent draw to make it out there. They could legitimately be the favorites of every game until they play North Carolina in the Elite Eight.
Iowa State is nice. And they got Taylor Horton-Tucker, that freshman.
They got a couple of freshmen that can really play.
And of course they got Mario Shea out.
Yeah, they got some guys. He could be a lottery pick. Like, they got some guys that can really play. Like, they're a 6, but I don't think they're going to be an underdog in a lot of these games that they play higher seeds.
Oh, they can play for sure.
But let me ask you this. Before we even get to who's in the Final Four and who's in the championship game, Duke's the favorite, right?
Oh, yeah. In every bracket. And once they lose, everybody's bracket's going to get busted.
So
that's why I'm making a bracket where they losing in the first round, just to be sure.
So, here's what I truly, truly believe. This is going to go one of two ways. Duke is going to run through everybody and get to the championship game without even breaking a sweat.
Or RJ going to shoot them out the game?
Or they're going to lose in the second round. Like, I don't see them, if they get out of that first weekend, they're just going to go on a run.
Well, I think I think this is what might happen. If they don't run through everybody, it'll be they win in the first round, and I think they get who do they get? Old Miss or Oklahoma?
That's a wash. Like, you go away.
So I say third round would be the round.
16?
Yeah, third round would be the round where they would take an L.
Not they're gonna catch a 4-5.
Yeah, somebody that can actually play.
Yeah. I don't know, man. For me, yeah, I understand that number 1 overall seeds don't have a good record of getting to the Final Four and winning it all.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have the top 3 players in the country and at least 3 lottery picks, if not 4, if Trey Jones comes out, you're basically a G League team. I don't see how they lose. And I get it, it's March Madness, things happen. I don't see how this Duke team can lose. They're going to have the most talent on the court in every game by a significant margin.
And Zion's unguardable, so.
And Zion is a freak. You have a hybrid of Chris Webber, Sean Kemp, and Charles Barkley. And how do you guard him?
You don't.
Do you put a center on him for the muscle and then he just blows by him every time? Do you put a guard that he just posts up all day? Do you put a wing where he can just bully him and do whatever he wants? There's not a team that has a player that can stay with Zion.
I would run a zone and hope that.
And hope the Cam doesn't get hot.
Yeah, I hope that they just broke that day. That's what I would do.
And you know what? That might be the way to do it, which is why I think if they ever had to play Syracuse, they could be in for something. Because Syracuse's zone is going to force you to take jump shots. And R.J. Barrett's going to get trigger happy. And if he's not hitting, he could shoot him out of the game.
It's possible.
Very easily. He could easily shoot him out of the game. So who is your Final Four?
So my Final Four, I got Duke.
Okay.
I got K-State.
I like it.
I got North Carolina.
Okay.
And I got Syracuse.
Yeah, it feels like every year that we think Syracuse is good, they don't do anything in the tournament. And then every year that we just overlook them in the tournament, they make this run to the Final Four for no reason.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can't see a reason not to pick them because that's Syracuse. If you pick against them, they win. So my Final Four, I got Duke, I got Texas Tech, I got K-State, and I got North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of have 2 opposite things going here. I have 2 really, really, really good offensive teams, and I have 2 of the best defensive teams.
Mm-hmm.
2 teams from the Big 12, 2 teams from the ACC, the 2 best conferences. I think I have the 2 best teams from the 2 best conferences in the Final Four.
Well, your opinion is biased. Your Tech opinion is biased.
No, because I have Tech losing in the second round in at least 3 of mine. I just think that...
It scares me to pick them because I want them to do so well, but if they don't, I'm going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
I'm going to be so sad.
But they have the keys to win in the tournament.
The only thing that's The only thing that they need to focus on is offense. Their defense is always going to be there.
Yeah.
It's just they need contributions. Jared's going to get his, but they need it from Moretti, they need it from Mooney, and they need to get at least...
They need something from Tariq.
I say, Tariq, you got to get at least 10 points. Tariq is going to be he's going to be a normal stuff on the defensive end, but he's got to he's got to hit a couple of those short corner jumpers because they're going to leave him open.
Get a couple of putback dunks. You got to give us...
Norris is going to get those energy plays, get those putback dunks.
Yeah. You know who has to come up big? Brandon Francis. Coming off the bench. He's got to be ready to shoot, and he's got to be hit.
Oh, yeah.
Because we need that space so that Jarrett can drive.
Mm-hmm.
Moretti is not enough of a threat by himself to pull a whole defense out.
Moretti is not down, though.
Absolutely. But if you can bag off of everyone else, if you can play in the paint for everyone else, Jarrett can't drive. So, all right. So then the important question. Who's holding up the trophy? Who's cutting down the nets this year?
It is going to be Syracuse.
Really?
Yep. Duke ain't winning nothing.
So on a scale from 1 to 10,
mm-hmm.
how confident are you in saying that Syracuse is going to win this whole thing?
I would say about a 3.14.
That's what, yeah. That's about
a
3.14%. About 3.14% higher than I thought you'd be. So, I got some low C's making a little run here, but in the end, I'm not breaking any secrets here. I think Duke is going to win it. I think when it comes down to it, I think it won't. At some point, if they're losing, I think they're just going to give the ball to Zion and say, "Go win this." And I don't think anyone can do anything about that.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I think this tournament is going to be a lot of fun to watch. I think there's going to be teams that shouldn't win that win. I think there's going to be some magic double-seeded team that's going to make a run.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, Duke is just so much better than everybody else.
We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah. We'll see, but that's what makes it March Madness. That's what makes this so much fun. That's why we make 37 brackets over 5 different apps. Because we don't have a clue. And every one of them can be different, and they're all going to get blown in the first week.
And it's going to be fun. Hey,
Sure.
boys and girls. It's Will. Just coming to you for this take 2. It's going to be short and sweet. Steve Kerr. Why did you name your son Nick? Like, come on, man. The teachers in his class was probably reading the roll sheet, and they looked at it and they were like, "Oh God, I can't say this too fast." Nick Kerr. All right, y'all, signing off.
Now for take 2. For those of you that haven't really been paying much attention, Mike Trout just got a brand new 12-year, $430 million contract. And for those of you that aren't very good at math, that means for the next 12 years, he's going to make over $98,000 a day. Yeah, he's going to be the upper 1% every single day. So, and it didn't take more than an hour before the Cardinals met with Kyler Murray. You know what that means? They realized they might lose him to play baseball. They got to make sure that he really likes football. Because if something goes, he's going to see that, and he's gone. I was always on the bandwagon that Kyler should play football because you can make more and that it's very, very rare to get those big contracts in the MLB. I was wrong. Kids, go play baseball. There's a lot of money in baseball.